Hello and welcome back. It's great to see you guys here. Today we are going to be talking about Class 1 levers. Now I've got some dominoes set up in the back and I love dominoes. I love setting them up, love knocking them over. They're just a bunch of fun. And so we're going to go ahead and do that. Dominoes are actually Class 3 levers. So we'll be talking a little bit more about those in a video coming up soon. Some examples of our Class 1 levers are scissors. We've got our pliers. A crowbar works like a Class 1 lever. And also, the Lego brick remover tool works as a Class 1 lever as well, and which functions pretty similarly to a crowbar when you use it just like this. So, what makes a Class 1 lever is when we have the force that we're putting into it, the fulcrum. Fulcrum is an important word. Make sure you say that if you haven't heard of that before. And then the work or the weight, where we are putting our energy in, what's being made easier. So for our scissors, there are actually two levers attached by the fulcrum. And as we squeeze down, you can see that they close down. So they're doing the work of cutting, making it easier for us to cut. And this is how they simplify our day, how they make our lives better and easier, right? So for this, we put the force in by squeezing the scissors. It cuts the paper, cuts whatever it's cutting that would be hard for us to do. And the fulcrum is where the force that we put in here changes to work. And so the fulcrum is very important in levers in that it makes us able to do work. So our pliers, let me set this down right over here so it'll be nice and soft. Okay, now we have our pliers here. And go ahead and just take a little second, look at them, try to identify where our force is, where we are putting our energy into, where the fulcrum is, where it's changing into our work, changing into weight that we can go ahead and use, giving us an advantage over what we're working with, the mechanical advantage. It makes it easier for us to do work. It makes it easier for us to do things. So for this, this is where we put in our force. We squeeze our pliers down. They change the direction here at our fulcrum, and then this is where the force comes and it sort of smooshes in. So what I mean by changing direction is that if I push this down, this is actually going up. So you can see I'm going to push this down. This is going to move up. And so it changes the directional force as we are operating something. Now, same is true for the bottom one. If I push this up, this is going to go down. So the fulcrum is changing the directional force in order to create work, in order to use the energy I'm putting into the handles and making me be able to either crush something in this example or grip something if I'm turning a nut, right? So we have our force, we have our fulcrum, and we have our the place where we are putting our energy in. All right, so here we are going to go ahead and just show the Lego brick remover too. So here I'm going to be putting the force in, pushing down, right? Right about here is where the fulcrum will be. That's going to change our energy. It's going to change the direction of our energy. It's going to give us control in getting this brick off. Now, if a brick is stuck, we all know how much energy you have to put into in order to get that if you don't have one of these tools. These tools did not exist when I was a kid. So I spent about 10 or 15 minutes trying to get that Lego piece off. And it was just something that you dealt with, right? So let's squeeze this on a little bit tighter. All I have to do is just push down here, and it pops off. Quite easy. And it makes it very simple to do. It's a simple machine. It simplifies our lives in a very easy way. It's not complicated at all. but it has a great effect. So now I don't want to put it on the table because I don't want to knock the dominoes over. If I turn over, loosen up this side as well, go back, loosen up this side, it eventually pops up with very little effort. I don't have to put a lot of effort in, just need to wiggle it around a little bit in order to loosen up all of the sides. So this is also a first class lever. Now we'll get into second class next and look at some examples and things like that. One of the really cool, really fun first class levers, though, I did want to kind of set up just so we could see it, and hopefully the dominoes stay, would be, we can create it like this. And that is a seesaw. So a seesaw, what's really cool about a seesaw is that it functions in the same way. The center point is the fulcrum. One side would be the weight, one side would be the load, the other one would be the work, the force getting put into the system, right? So you force yourself up and down and up and down. So if you are up here, you need to, as you go up and down, it changes between the work and the force. So the force and the weight change as it moves around. I'm not sure if my fingers are getting, ooh, did you see all of them shiver and shake? Not sure if my fingers are getting in the way. So that is how it changes. So I think seesaws are a really cool example of a class 1 lever, because simply with the fact that it really depends on how it's moving for that. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and knock these Legos over, or stolen Legos. I'm gonna go ahead and knock these dominoes over, and we'll go ahead and see how they fall, and we'll end up getting to dominoes and type 3 classes of levers. But I think our next video will stop and pause on class 2 levers, just to make sure that we're fully understanding those too. Oh, there's also another example too of a class 1 lever that you have probably used, and that's a hammer. The claw side of the hammer that you use to take the nails off also functions in that same way, where the work is on one side, the fulcrum is in the middle, and then the weight is on the other side. Okay, so let's go ahead and count down. 3, 2, 1. Oh no, it didn't work. Oh no. There we go. Awesome. We got them all down. So yeah, I hope like the video, subscribe, keep on coming back, and we'll get some more content up here just like this. Have a great one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.